Hello everybody and welcome back to another reading vlog. Today is my second reading vlog in the series where I am reading all of the books that are finalists for the National Book Award for Fiction. I actually did one 2 weeks ago, if this is going up on time, where I read The Birdcatcher by Gail Jones. So if you guys are interested in what I thought of that one, I will point you to my other video in this series. But today I'm going to be reading two finalists, which I will get to in just a moment. But I wanted to start out this vlog by saying that it is my birthday, my 28th birthday. I feel like just yesterday I was 21 years old and now somehow I'm 28. Today was one of those birthdays where I, worked from 7 to 5. It was a busy day, just like any other day. But I also just felt really grateful today for all the things in my life that I'm so lucky to have. A job that I love, a cat that drives me crazy, a boyfriend that is so incredibly supportive, all of you guys, so many friends that have sent me wonderful birthday gifts, and I'm so unbelievably grateful for. I'm the kind of person where when I get a gift in the mail around the time of my birthday, I'm like, it could be a birthday gift, but it also could be some other package that I need to know. So I usually open them actually before my birthday. So I wanted to share a couple of the things that I got before I actually dive into what I'm going to be reading this week. All right, so first up, my very closest friend from growing up. We grew up together all throughout elementary school, high school. I was in her wedding. She's just one of my absolute favorite people. Sent me a bunch of gifts that are just so me. She knows me so well after so many years. The first one, of course, is a new tea. So it's the Harney & Sons English Breakfast Tea, and I love any new type of tea, so I'm gonna have to try this one in this vlog and see what I think about it. I am a huge English breakfast fan, but I usually have to drink it in the morning or I can't sleep, so we will try this one a bit later on in the vlog. She sent me this absolutely gorgeous notebook too. It just has lines, and then it also says, "Today is a new beginning," which is absolutely perfect for a birthday gift. And then the last thing she got me is this necklace that's like the Libra symbol, and we're two people that don't really believe in horoscopes, but growing up, whenever we were dating someone new or something happened in our life, we'd look at our horoscopes and see if it matched what was happening. And so we always kind of joke about it, but I actually really love this necklace. I think it's so pretty, so I'm definitely gonna be wearing this. Tyler's mom got me this amazing wax warmer. It's called Happy Wax. And I guess it's a plug-in wax warmer. As you guys know, I'm obsessed with candles and anything that smells good. So I was so excited when I saw this come in the mail. And it just plugs into an outlet like this. And the wax melts look like gummy bears, which is amazing. So I'm gonna open this mysterious package that came with it that I'm assuming are wax melts. So I'm already obsessed with this. The first one is pumpkin souffle, and they look like these little orange bears. And then we have apple harvest and cinnamon chai. Oh my gosh, I'm really excited to try these out. These look amazing. We will see how Gilbert does with having wax melts in the well, but I think he can control himself. If he can control himself with candles, he can definitely control himself with the wax melts. I haven't opened Tyler's gifts because we usually do gifts together, and he actually works till 1 in the morning, so I haven't seen him yet today. I'm assuming he got me something. But the other thing that I got was this from my mom, and this is an automatic cat feeder for Gilbert, and it has a little camera actually. I kind of joke about this, but when we're on vacation, I really miss Gilbert. I miss seeing him. I miss knowing how he's doing, and so it has a little camera so you can watch and make sure that he's doing okay. So I'm actually going to set this up, I think, after I film this clip. I just have to put the batteries in. It shouldn't be that complicated, but you never know. So enough about birthday presents. I'm now going to be chatting about the books that I'm planning to read in this week's vlog. So the first one is the one that I initially gravitated towards when I saw the list. and it's called The Rabbit Hutch by Tess Gunty. This is a book about 4 teens that have recently aged out of foster care. And I'm so interested in foster care and foster care adoption. Tyler and I have talked a lot about when and how we want to start a family, and we've actually talked a lot about adopting from foster care. So I'm really interested in seeing what this book is about. This is a book that takes place in Indiana, I believe, and it's about 4 teens that live in this apartment building. I'm not totally sure beyond that, and I think I want to kind of go into it not knowing too much, but this one sounds super, super interesting, and I'm really excited to get into it. And the other book that I'll be reading this week is probably the most known or hyped up book. I'd actually seen this title before I looked at the list. And I can't say that about the other books on the list because most of them are actually pretty unknown or debut authors. But that is All This Could Be Different. I love the cover of this. And without getting too much into the details of this, I think it's about an immigrant woman who moves to the United States and gets a job and then falls in love with another woman and her kind of struggles being an immigrant and some of the struggles that she's having with her romance. I'm really excited for this one as well. I think it sounds so interesting. It's blurbed by so many people that I love. Lauren Groff, who was the author of Matrix, which I read last year. Raven Lalani, I've heard a lot about. I haven't actually read Luster. Robert Jones Jr., who wrote The Prophets. I also read that last year and really, really enjoyed it. So I think this is also going to be an absolute treat. All right, so with that, I'm going to get into my PJs. I'm going to listen to a true crime podcast and clean my apartment because it's so messy after having worked the last 7 days. I'm going to set up Gilbert's new feeder and just kind of have a get my life together type of evening. I might do a little bit of baking tonight. There's this apple loaf that I've been really wanting to make. So yeah, I'm going to get out of work clothes and enjoy the rest of the night. Tuesday, and I am popping in for my next reading update. I have made my way through quite a bit more of The Rabbit Hutch, but before I chat with you guys about my progress with that, I did want to show you something very exciting that came in the mail the other day. Now this requires a little bit of backstory and you guys knowing a couple things about me. The first is that I'm a very seasonal person, and not only am I seasonal, I am like very much looking forward to the season that's coming ahead of the season that I'm already in. And so even though it's fall right now, I'm basking in fall and really enjoying it. I am, of course, looking forward to the Christmas and the holiday season. And while I do really enjoy the holidays, wintertime is always more tricky for me in terms of my mental health. I tend to just be more tired, more down, just struggle a bit more in the winter. So this year I have made it my mission to enjoy this winter and to make things that I'm looking forward to, whether that's little trips or sporting events or whatever else that we're going to make me more excited and enjoy this winter a bit more. And I figured that there was something that I always loved about December when I was growing up, and that was advent calendars. My mom used to buy me a little chocolate advent calendar every single year, and it was so exciting when she came home from the store. So this year I have decided to purchase a couple of advent calendars for myself. They are not chocolate, but one of them is food related and will be coming probably in a future vlog as the package is currently missing. But one of them is already here, and it is the Anthropology Beauty Advent Calendar. First off, this packaging is just unbelievably gorgeous. That's the outside of it, and then when you open it up, you have all of the different beauty products, and they do actually look like they're going to be pretty decent sized. So I am so much looking forward to, during the month of December, diving into all of these, finding some new beauty favorites. I am a sucker for anything Anthropology, so I cannot wait to jump into that one. But now back to the fall season and the fact that I have got to get cracking with the National Book Award finalists. So my first reading update for The Rabbit Hutch. I'm actually really enjoying this one so far, with a few caveats, which I'll get to in just a moment. So in terms of the setup, you start with this very violent scene surrounding our main character. And I'll just read a little bit of it so you can get an idea of what the writing is like. And it says, on a hot night in apartment C4, Blandine, I'm not sure how to say her name, I'm just pronouncing it like that in my head, so I'm going to go with it. Blandine Watkins exits her body. She is only 18 years old, but she has spent most of her life wishing for this to happen. The agony is sweet, as the mystics promised. It's like your soul is being stabbed with light, the mystics said, and they were right about that too. The mystics called this experience the transverberation of the heart, or the seraph's assault, but no angel appears to Blandine. There is, however, a bioluminescent man in his 50s, glowing like a firefly. He runs to her and yells. So as a reader, you know that this is kind of the main character, and it's starting out with this incredibly violent act. And then you flash back and start to meet all of the people in her apartment complex, which is called the Rabbit Hutch, but is actually named the French word for the Rabbit Hutch, which I will pop on the screen. I did take French in high school, but it's been a hot minute, so I'm gonna not mispronounce it. So mainly the story revolves around the three boys that she lives with that have aged out of foster care, and they're all sharing an apartment as they kind of start adulthood together. But you also share some parts of the story with other people that live in the apartment complex. I think that this book is so well written. Like, I can tell that this author has a real gift with words, with telling the story. And there are parts to this book that I get so sucked into. I would say the parts relating to Blandine and her life, how she got to where she is, the tragedy that she's been through, have just completely captivated me, and I fly through those parts. I do also really enjoy the parts about the boys and learning about their history in foster care. But of course, one of the main caveats to this book for me so far is I think it could be a bit more edited, and that's kind of a personal preference, but I'm not the kind of reader that likes super tangential books where you're following, you know, some main plot lines and then you just have random chapters that delve into some side character that isn't feeding the narrative. And I do feel that there are some bits of this book that are like that. I think that they add a certain something to the book. They add something to the setting, to this really worn down town that this book takes place in, and some of the history of how it became the town that it did. But personally, they aren't my favorite parts to the story. I do think it could have done with some, at least in my opinion, some chopping down of those parts that do get a bit long-winded for me. But so far, I'm really loving this. I'm really drawn to a lot of aspects of this story. Otherwise, last night I started a couple of new Netflix shows, which I really don't need to be doing, but I also have had kind of a busy work week, and so there's nothing like diving into a few new Netflix shows. One of them is called From Scratch, and it's about a woman who goes to Italy and kind of falls in love. It's definitely giving me some Emily in Paris vibes if you enjoyed that show. I watched a bit of it, but didn't actually finish that one. But it is very escapist and enjoyable, so I might watch a bit more of that one. And then as it is the fall time, I did find a new true crime show to watch on Netflix, and I'm forgetting what it's called right now, but I'll pop it on the screen. It is about a girl that went missing from the Vatican City back in the 80s, I believe, and it's very, very interesting, but something that kind of creeps me out if I watch it a little too late at night. So I might dive into an episode or so of one of those. But the big event of the evening, before I get into all the TV, is I'm going to make some apple cinnamon rolls from Half Baked Harvest, which is one of my favorite food blogs. I have made her regular cinnamon rolls before, but these are going to be using some of the apples that I desperately need to get rid of. So I'm going to give it a go and see what they're like. Maybe it will make its way into my fall traditions, which I have many of. But I'm really excited to have a sweet treat, enjoy some Netflix, and maybe do a bit more reading tonight as well. So it is currently Monday and it is Halloween today. I did not do anything Halloween-y. I slept all day because I was on the night shift last night, and then I will be going back to work another night tonight. The one kind of festive thing is because I'm in the NICU right now, the parents do dress up all of the NICU babies for Halloween, so most of them have super adorable Halloween outfits on, so I'm excited for that today. Maybe I will watch some Hocus Pocus if I get some downtime, but otherwise today, unfortunately, is just another day for me. But anyways, I did get to finish The Rabbit Hutch last night by Tess Gundy, so I wanted to briefly wrap up my thoughts of this one. I ended up giving this a 3 stars. I think that this book, at the heart of it, had a 5-star within it. There was the materials for this to be a 5-star book, but for me, there was just so many like extraneous characters and plot points that I was trying to follow, and it took away from this super compelling story that was at the heart of this girl who had suffered something very violent at the beginning of the story, and you're trying to wrap your head around who these people are that did this to her and who she is. And I found that whole narrative just so compelling. But then there were all the other characters. I feel like the author felt the need to go into all of the different apartment complexes in the building that she lived in and tell the reader about all of those people. And maybe there was a little bit to be gained by that. But I also do think there was something to be lost, because as a reader, if you're trying to focus on 20 different things, it does draw the attention away a little bit from the main nugget, the main gem of this story. And so I did feel a little bit sad that was so distracted from. Having said that, though, I think this was a really, really well-written book. And this being a debut makes me really excited for this author's future works, because I do think that she is unbelievably talented and gifted as a writer to come up with this story and to write it in this way. And I know she does have a new release that has been announced for next year, so I will be definitely keeping my eye out for that. But overall, this was a middle of the road 3 out of 5 stars for me. All right, so we are now moving on to the second book of this vlog, and that is All This Could Be Different. I think I mentioned this at the beginning of the vlog, but this was the only book that I had actually heard of out of all of them. So I'm really excited to dive into this one. I think I am going to be picking up a little bit of this tonight. It was pretty chill last night, so I think I could definitely make my way through a bit of this while working the night shift on Halloween. So we will see what I think of this one.
How it sways in the sun, keeping our stories in its motion, lies the truth about us. Things time will tell, we might never know. We'll be gone before it all begins. Send me your songs of tomorrow.
Hello everybody, it is currently Thursday to chat about All This Could Be Different, as well as wrapping up this vlog. I realized that I did not film a middle of the book update kind of after I'd already finished the book, and when I give my middle of the book updates, I try to make it somewhere where there's something that's about to happen so that I, have something that I'm looking forward to, or at least I've put my thoughts together in terms of what I think of the book. But because of the way that this book was formatted, that moment never came. So I ended up just reading the whole thing. So overall, this was a interesting read. It is about a woman named Sneha who is an Indian immigrant, and she is in Milwaukee, Wisconsin at an entry-level job during a recession in the Obama era, and she is navigating the ins and outs of going on dates with other women in Milwaukee, as well as paying her rent and doing the everyday. There's also a lot in here about immigrant life. Her family lives back in India, so a lot of the book is the conflict and the sadness that she kind of feels that her family lives so far away. So in the synopsis, it says that there's kind of this radical plan to save everybody in the story from this the struggles that they're facing. And while there is something that you're kind of reading towards and building towards in this book, for the most part, it is very much like talking through the everyday struggles, the everyday events. it isn't really building up to a big event or a big moment per se, or at least it didn't feel that way. So it's a little bit of a different structure than I'm used to. But I did really, really enjoy the writing of this. I really enjoyed reading from the main character's perspective. She wasn't always the most likable person. There were definitely times as a reader where I disagreed with the things that she was doing and saying, but I think you also are really in her head and really privy to her struggles, and the author does a really good job of kind of explaining that and going through what she's been through. I don't know, for some reason, towards the middle of the book, I lost interest a bit. I think that the beginning was stronger for me, and I just struggled to be invested and engaged the whole way. I'm not really sure the reason for that, because it's not that the writing got worse, but I just think I started to get a little bit tired of the characters and wanting it to be building towards something that it wasn't quite building towards. But I did really enjoy this one. I ended up giving it a 3.5 stars. All right, guys, so that's going to be it for this second vlog of the National Book Award vlogs. I'm hoping to get up the third vlog before the winner gets announced, but I only have about a week left, so I'm going to do my best. Let me know if you have read either of these books and what you thought of them. I would love to know your favorite of the list so far. And with that, I will see you guys very soon with another video. Bye.